For a week now, this girl had been complaining that she had an itchy head. Maybe an irritated scalp, her father thought. But when she was still whining about it after a week, he decided to take a closer look at her head. Maybe she had had lice. But what he found turned out to be something completely different. There was a hair clip in his daughter's hair. The pin had a small red light that blinked every now and then and emitted a dim light. What could this be? Before we start, can we get this video to 1,000 likes? Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. David thought to himself. He showed Emma, his wife and mother, to their daughter, the hair clip. But right when he showed the hair clip to his wife, she broke down and made a shocking confession. It had happened over and over again in the last few weeks. Every day, Emma had told her daughter to come home right after school. But even though her school day ended at 3:30 p.m., her daughter, Kim, kept coming home hours later. This was strange, as the bus ride home should only take 5 minutes. Her mom, Emma, would wait in front of the window every day, but she never saw the bus stop outside her house. Hours later, her daughter, whistling a happy tune, would walk into the house around dinner time, as if nothing had happened. I would ask her where she had been, but apparently that was none of my business, Emma said. Emma didn't trust her daughter and called the school. Soon, Emma got the answer she had feared. Her daughter, Kim, hadn't gotten on the school bus for weeks. So where did Kim disappear off to every day? So Emma bought a small camera that could be attached to Kim's hair clip. She put it in her hair every morning and attached it firmly. He sat down on the sofa next to his wife and watched the live camera images. Let the espionage begin. It soon became clear that Kim was not taking the bus. Her teacher told Emma that the bus had left about 5 minutes ago, but the navigation icon present on the camera stayed motionless in the schoolyard. Her teacher was also aware of this because from the window of her classroom, she saw the young lady waiting around for something in the schoolyard. In the distance, her teacher saw someone approaching and Kim was clearly enthusiastic. It was a tall lady. She had never seen this woman at school before, but Kim seemed to really know her. The two walked towards each other and Kim took her hand. Emma and David sat on the sofa, trembling in fear. Emma wanted to get into the car and go after their daughter and the strange woman. But this wasn't possible, because the images ran on Wi-Fi. This meant that the farther they would drive away from the house, the weaker the signal would get. And they weren't going to lose sight of their daughter. Not right now. Both parents sat on the edge of the couch, shouting into the phone. Kim's teacher, who was still on the other end of the line, knew exactly what to do. She told Emma and David to stay put and to keep an eye on the camera footage. And she would follow Kim and this strange woman to their destination. Kim and the strange woman were walking through the streets at a rapid pace. It seemed as if they were in a hurry, but they were being chased by her teacher. Emma was on the phone, with cold sweat dripping down her forehead. The camera images the hair clip was recording were blurry, but they would sometimes give them a clear shot. Where are they now? I see the old church, Emma said over the phone. The teacher confirmed the images. Kim and the strange woman entered a church and disappeared behind the massive doors. It was an old building and the lights were clearly not working properly, as the camera couldn't show them much of the inside of the church. But it did pick up sounds. Clearly, there was a lot of commotion going on in the building. Kim's teacher saw different shadows moving up and down, and at the end of the hall, the strange woman stood with Kim. The woman whispered something in Kim's ears, and then the young girl ran through the room with the other shadows. Kim's teacher was so focused on what was going on inside the church that she forgot for a moment that she was still on the phone. But then she heard Emma's high-pitched voice coming from her palm. What do you see? Kim's teacher replied, forget those camera images, come over here. Emma and David left for the old church in a hurry. When they got there, Emma's eyes were red from crying, and they were face to face with Kim's teacher. But she clearly didn't share the same emotion as Emma. She had a big smile on her face and invited Emma and David to join her to see what their daughter had been up to. Emma and David were confused. Why was her daughter's teacher smiling? A strange woman had taken their daughter just like that. There was nothing funny about that. Just before Emma burst into tears for the second time, a reassuring hand took hold of hers. It was her daughter, Kim. She looked at her mother lovingly and took her parents inside the old church. The shadows inside the church were not scary creatures or wild animals. There were dozens of little children, all around the age of her daughter, Kim. Kim walked up to the strange woman with her mom and dad. She was already waiting at the far end of the room. Emma looked back at the only familiar face she saw besides her daughter. But Kim's teacher, who was following them from a distance, also gave an approving look. They reached the place where the woman was waiting. Kim let go of her parents' hands, and the woman started talking. "I am the owner of this small-scale orphanage here. Maybe I don't look like one, but I used to be a nun. We try to take care of underprivileged orphans here and give them a temporary place to stay. It is difficult for children without parents to have a positive outlook on life, but your daughter has done us a great service." "What do you mean, my daughter?" Emma asked the happily smiling nun. "Your daughter is the reason for all these children laughing and playing here. And that's because of her background. Kim came from the same background as these children. At a young age, she had lost both parents in a car accident and ended up in the foster system. A very uncertain and difficult period for a young girl, but behind the clouds, there is always a silver lining. And Kim is the textbook example of this. She was adopted by a wonderful mother and father who gave her lots of love and made her feel like a happy child again. You are those parents," the nun told Emma. "Every day after school, Kim comes here to play with the orphans, but especially to tell beautiful stories about how loving and beautiful adoption can be. And it has already paid off." "How so?" Emma asked, looking at her daughter in wonder. "Well, thanks to the positive input from your daughter, 5 children have already been adopted. She regularly accompanies me to meet the parents who are looking to adopt, to help convince them of the wonders of adoption." Emma and David, as well as Kim's teacher, couldn't keep their tears at bay. They wiped away their tears of appreciation and wonder, and Emma gave her daughter a big hug. "We shall do something to help you as well," Kim's teacher exclaimed aloud, and that's exactly what they did. It is now 2 months later, and Emma and David, Kim's teacher, and the orphanage owner have certainly not been idle. They promoted the orphanage far and wide and convinced the municipality of the importance of the shelter. With Kim as their positive figurehead, they managed to transform the small orphanage into a wonderful retreat for all children in need. More than 40 children have now found a loving new family and have had a new chance at happy life. What a beautiful story with a message that inspires confidence in the goodness of people. Thanks, Kim.